Yeah,
And we're live.
oh, we're live. Yeah, that's been my most
Yeah.
energy the last 2 days is trying to get interviews with the cast of Brian Banks or Brian Banks. Cannot wait for that.
But anyway, we're live. And welcome to another episode of Rackham. We're a day early for a change, just because I've got lots of things to do tomorrow. So why not do it earlier? So I've got a great panel here. And we've got a very special Schmodown guest on. We've got the Cobra himself, Chance Ellison. Chance, how are you going?
I'm good, man. You brought me on to talking Tarantino. He's one of my favorite directors, and I think characters is a good place to start. So yeah, I'm happy to be here.
And also here is Dan Skipellen. Dan, how's it going?
Great. I'll tell you what. Other than Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I think his movies have a lot of great characters.
Can't comment on that movie because I haven't seen it yet.
Neither have I. But
actually, there are a couple good characters in the movie.
Yeah,
the two leads are great. That's about it.
But anyway, how the show works, we go through. We each nominate a character we think should be on the top 12 list, and then we'll say yes or no to whether they deserve on the list. It's a pretty small panel today, so it should be a very quick episode, and I'm going to kick it off with Chance. Chance, who's the first character you're going to bring up?
Out of the way because he's really out there for me. And I think when you think Tarantino characters, this is someone who easily comes to your mind first, and that is Jules Winfield from Pulp Fiction. This is a character that that was written expressly for Samuel L. Jackson, and it shows why it had to be him to play it. He's cool. There's a lot to him, and especially towards like the third act, the third vignette of the film, you really start to see a lot of his psyche. You see that he's a lot more complex than you perceive him to be from the opening few minutes. So Jules Winfield, my first nomination.
So Jules Winfield is on the table. Dan, what do you say about Jules?
You know, I created a list, and I specifically kept certain people off the list because I said to myself, these guys are going to pick these people. They're going to be picked. So I want to pick some different people. And I knew Jules Winfield was going to be picked. And I had a Royale with cheese the other day. So, you know, of course we want Jules Winfield on the list. This is that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and Jules is definitely number one on my list too. So Jules does become the first one to make the list. And Dan, I'm going to go to you next for your next nomination.
Oh, well, thank you. That's very nice of you, Malcolm. I'm going to pick my absolute, it's not my favorite movie, but my favorite character in all Quentin Tarantino's movies. And not only are they in one movie, but they have two movies, and that is The Bride, played by Uma Thurman. She is phenomenal. She's kicked so much ass. I hope I can curse. She's just an amazing character. I love her. She goes through so much. She goes from hell and back in those movies, and you can't not have a list of the best Tarantino characters and not have The Bride on the list.
The Bride was the first one that I thought of. So yes, she definitely belongs on the list. Chance, what would you have said?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, Beatrix Kiddo, she's phenomenal. A great performance. She's one of the greatest. She's one of the greatest female protagonists in cinema. So, yeah, she makes the list.
But it's back to me, and I'm going to go for the other half of the Pulp Fiction show. I'm going to go for Vincent Vega. Vincent Vega is another character which is probably a slam dunk to belong on this list. Some of his stuff he comes out with in the movie, and like John Travolta just brings it all to the role, and just. But yeah, it's one of those ones that I've had a hard job separating them. It's like but I did. They both belong on the list. Chance, what do you say about Vincent?
Is he a no-brainer though? That's my response. This is actually a tough one because I do like Vincent a lot. I think he blends for a lot of good laughs. I think he's cool to watch. I think there are better characters in that movie. I think there might be better characters in the whole Tarantino pantheon. I'm gonna lean towards no. I'm not gonna be upset if he makes the list.
Dan, what do you say about Vincent
Vincent's
Vega?
on the list. Are you kidding me, Chance? Are you kidding
All
me?
right, fair.
Of course, Vincent's. How about the dancing? How about the Jack Rabbit Slims and all the stuff he does with Uma Thurman? And I mean, he's amazing at that. And then his banter back and forth with Jules in that house and all that stuff. He's of course he's on the list, man.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. I don't have a problem with him making it.
Yeah. But Dan, who's next character you're going to bring up?
Oh wow, you give me a
Aren't
second this quick. How about Chance?
Aren't I next?
Aren't
Oh,
Chance?
yeah, Chance is
I was
next.
like, yeah, I'll take
I
it.
forgot where it started.
Chance.
All right, so I'm going back to someone who I think is one of the best characters in film period of the past 10 years. Definitely the best part of the movie he was in came from a Tarantino film. And I'm going with Colonel Hans Landa from Inglourious Bastards. I think the dude absolutely steals every single scene he's in. Christoph Waltz is phenomenal in the movie. And yeah, there's a lot to him because like it could have been just a complete one-dimensional. He's a Nazi, so that Nazi equals bad. But you know, throughout the film, you see he's really less of a Nazi; he's more of an opportunist, and that really shines through the more you go on in the film. He's enigmatic, he's weirdly magnetic, and yeah, he's a really really solid character. So yeah, I'm going Hans Landa.
Yeah, I'll go next on this one. Hans Landa is definitely one that I did consider. There's probably a few I'll put above him, but
Seriously?
I will slightly say no and leave it up to Dan.
Are you kidding me? You want to see my list right now? Malcolm, you want to see my list right now? Number 2 on my list was Hans Landa, right there, right behind the bride. And when you gave me that opportunity to go next, I was like, oh, this is great. I get to say Hans Landa. I mean, this guy is amazing in Inglourious Bastards. That first 15 minutes, I mean, it's incredible. It's one of the greatest scenes in movie history. That first 15 minutes in Inglourious Bastards, in my opinion. Of course, that is like so obvious he should be on this list.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm not a big fan of like him. Just like Chance with Vincent Vegas. Like I've got no problem for making the list. He's just one of those ones that's he's just slightly that bottom tier for me personally. But anyway, Dan, it's back to you this time. What's your next nomination?
I couldn't go with Hans Landa thanks to my good buddy Chance over there. I'm gonna have to go back. I'm just going in order of the characters that I have here. So I'm just going to go in order and, hopefully they get on. But if they don't, I still have a bunch of others. I'm going to go back to Pulp Fiction, actually. A character that just, you didn't think in the movie, like, man. And then as the movie went along, you're like, wow, this guy is an awesome character. And that's Marcellus Wallace. I'm going with Marcellus Wallace from Pulp Fiction. I love Ving Rhames in Pulp Fiction. I think he's amazing in Pulp Fiction. His up and down journey through in that movie is very interesting.
Chance, what do you say about Marcellus Wallace? This is a tough one. I love Marcellus and I love Ving Rhames. He has a cool demeanor to him. He plays up that whole like biggest baddest crime boss in LA very well. I think there are a few characters in Pulp Fiction I'd rather put on here instead, and some other Tarantino that I'd put on instead. So, yeah, something with the Veg, I'm gonna turn him down, but if he makes it, I'm not gonna be upset about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is another one which is very tough for me. But I'm also probably going to give it a slight no, just because while he's a good character, I do think there's a lot more that's higher up on than him, which does bring it back to me. And I'm going to go for a different movie altogether. I'm going to go for Stuntman Mike from Death Proof. While yes, the movie itself is not the greatest. Kurt Russell was definitely the standout as Stuntman Mike in this movie, and I do think he is up there. And I do think he does belong on this list, even if he is in the bottom sort of tier of the list. But Dan, what do you say about Stuntman Mike?
I'll be honest with you, Malcolm. I think the girls are better in the movie than him, and I like what the girls do in the movie better than Stuntman Mike. So I'm gonna have to say no.
And Chance, what do you say about Stuntman Mike?
This is actually a tough one. 'Cause I do like Death Proof. Granted, it's my least favorite half of Grindhouse, but I do like the movie. I slightly agree with Dan that the girls are maybe more interesting, but at the same time, I think the whole mentality of Sam Mike, where like his job basically turns him into like a sociopath. I think it's really interesting. So, for the sake of getting something from Death Proof on here, I'm gonna give it a yes. I'll give it a yes because we have what 12 spots.
Yeah.
I'll give him a yes. Why not?
So, Chance, it's back to you for your next nomination.
All right, so I'm also going to go to the movie. My second favorite Tarantino film, actually. I'm going to go with Django Freeman from Django Unchained. I mean, just from the opening shot to the end shot, you see a complete growth of this guy from just this slave to just like reduced to nothing to this like really confident badass bounty hunter, arguably the most badass Tarantino character. Like it's him and the Bride, they're both right up there. And yeah, just the complete arc he goes through his relationships with why am I blanking on his name? Dr. Schultz. I had to dig out there real quick. From the chemistry he has with every other character, the stuff he has with his wife, Django Freeman is completely awesome. And so much so that we're actually getting a crossover with him and Zorro, so I think it's pretty awesome. And Django Freeman should make the list.
Django's on the table. Yeah, I definitely agree. Like Django's definitely one that belongs on this list. Like, it is Jamie Foxx that played him, right? I'm not confusing it with someone else.
No, you are correct. It is Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx is probably not one of my favorite actors in the world, but what he brought to Django is something completely different. And I mean, like his he even reprised his character in the not so great Million Ways to Die and the Rest. So whether that says anything about how like big the character has gotten for pop culture, I don't know, but yeah, I'm going to give him a yes. Dan, what would you have said on Django?
Yeah, I would have put Django. I mean, he's the star of the movie. Jamie Foxx gives a great performance as Django, and from the beginning to the end of the movie, he has a great journey. And yeah, I mean, you have to put Django on the list.
But Dan, it's back to you for your next nomination.
All right, I'm gonna go to a movie we haven't mentioned yet as well, and I'm gonna go to Mr. Blonde. Mr. Blonde by Michael Madsen is such a freaking crazy man, and that scene where he's dancing around to "Stuck in the Middle with You" by Steeler's Wheel is like the best scene in the whole freaking movie, where he's torturing that guy. I just that for me makes Mr. Blonde easily one of the best Quentin Tarantino characters in all his movies. I just love Michael Madsen in that role, and specifically that scene.
Chance, what do you say about Mr. Blonde?
Let me just say first of all, Mr. Blonde, the superior Vega brother of the two. And, but maybe like the third or fourth best Mister in that movie. So I'm gonna lean towards now.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to be on Chance's side on this. Yeah, I mean it's nothing against the character. Like with the movie Reservoir Dogs is not one that I've really connected with a lot. Like I've watched it a few times. It's just one of those movies which is probably my lower half of Tarantino movies. But Mr. Blonde is not my favorite character in that. So yeah, will be a no for me as well. But it's back to me, and I'm going to go back to Django Unchained, and I'm going to bring up Candy. But this character is a really interesting one, and it's one that until this movie, I don't think I've seen this side of Leo before, being the kind of like evil bastard kind of role. And this, like, what he brought to this role, like, even injuring himself and just rolling with and still continuing staying in character the whole way through was just one of those incredible moments which a lot of people keep talking about to this day, from like when actors injure themselves and just don't break and just keep it, and then they keep that shot in the movie. It's just one of those ones which bring a lot more to that. Well, Dan, what do you say about Calvin Candy?
Well, I had Calvin Candy on my list, and everything you said. I mean, exactly the reasons why you said. I think he is just. How often have you seen Leonardo DiCaprio play a bad guy, and he's just like he's just enjoying every moment of it, And so yeah, I definitely say Calvin Candy should be on the list.
And Chance, what do you say about Calvin Candy?
First of all, let me just say Leonardo DiCaprio absolutely played the bad guy in Titanic. Jack Dawson is an evil bastard. Go rewatch it if you don't believe me. And Calvin Candy, he's not. I do like his performance in that movie, which thing off me because, as most people know, not a big fan of DiCaprio in general. But I probably would have given it a no, but I'm not upset he's on here.
I don't know. I would have said that Rose is definitely more evil than Jack, because there was definitely enough room on that door at the end. She just refused.
Oh, they're both bad people. I mean, Billy Zane's he's the real hero of that movie.
But anyway, go back to Chance for your next nomination.
All right, so I'm gonna go into Tarantino's other Western. I'm gonna go to Hateful Eight. I'm gonna go with someone who might be a little unconventional. I'm gonna go with Chris Mannix, who has the character played by Walton Goggins. So he's a guy who he's part of this like crime family, and he says he's the new sheriff of this new town they're going to. No, we don't know if he's telling the truth or not, but just the way he carries himself at the beginning of the movie, where like you don't really know what side he's on, and then we'll spoil it if you haven't seen it. Well, I'm not gonna spoil it if you haven't seen it, but just the way he transitions at the beginning of the movie, you really see what this guy's about. And I think when you're in a movie with like Kurt Russell and Tim Roth and Madsen and Bruce Dern and all the other people who've worked with Tarantino before, to be a standout among that crop, I think that says a lot about your character and your performance. So I think Chris Mannix should be top 12.
Chris Mannix is on the table. Dan, what do you say about Chris Mannix?
I'll tell you what. I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. I absolutely hate the Hateful Eight, and
Really?
I think Walton Goggins is awful in that movie. I think in a bad movie that I cannot stand. I think Samuel L. Jackson's the best character, and maybe Kurt Russell's second best, and maybe Bruce Dern might be third best if you had to ask me. I just don't like that movie, and
Bruce Dern.
Bruce Dern, isn't he like a general or a corporal or a in a chair? Isn't he sitting in the chair?
He is, but he's barely like that's literally all he does. He sits in a chair.
But I'm saying you, that's how much I hate the movie. I don't even remember what the heck everybody does in the movie. I can't stand it. I just thought it was just an awful movie. So I wouldn't vote anybody in that movie on the list. That's just my opinion.
But stat back to me. And Hateful Eight is the only one of Tarantino's nine movies so far. Excluding Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is not out of New Zealand yet, but it's one of his 8 movies I've actually never seen. So it's the only one.
All right, well, there goes my Marcus Warren nomination for later. So okay.
Like some characters I do know about because I've seen the clips of them around, but yeah, that's probably one that I don't. Anyway, Dan, what's your next nomination?
Hopefully, I can get one on here with this one. I'm going to go Lieutenant Aldo Raines, portrayed by Brad Pitt. Man, this guy's amazing in this movie. I mean, Brad Pitt was incredible. I mean, what can I say? I mean, the group of guys that he leads and stuff. He's like, "Hey, get me them German scalps," and he's got that crazy accent and stuff. I love Aldo Raines in Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, Lieutenant Aldo Raines is one that I've got on my list as well. Like, I love what Brad Pitt does with this role, and it's just one that I do think is incredible. Chance, what do you say about Lieutenant Aldo? What would you have said?
I would have gone no. I think there's only one American from that movie that I would have put on this list, and Aldo Raine was not it, so I would have said no.
Is the one you would have put on Sam Levine?
It maybe. BBC Hirschberg.
But anyway, I'm going to. It's back to me, and I'm going to bring up Jackie Brown. And Jackie Brown is one of those characters which I didn't think I'd like this movie when I watched it. I enjoyed it more than I thought I did, which was interesting. Like Jackie Brown, the main character, is just one of those ones which it's played by Pam Grier, I believe.
Yes, it is. It is Pam Grier.
Yeah. And it's definitely one of those characters which is very interesting and just you never know where she's going throughout the movie. But yeah, Jackie Brown is on the table. Dan, what do you say about Jackie Brown?
Even though Jackie Brown, the movie, is lower on my tier of Quentin Tarantino films, I think she's a standout in the movie. And she just, if you're going to make a list of Quentin Tarantino characters, I think she's a fantastic character. And it's great that and this is one of the great things about Quentin Tarantino. He brings these actors and actresses back from obscurity, like he did John Travolta, and he brings so many of these people back from obscurity, and then they have these breakout roles like Travolta did in Pulp Fiction, and she does in Jackie Brown, and I think she does a great job in Jackie Brown. So I said, yeah, sure, put Pam Grier, Jackie Brown on the list.
And Jackie Brown makes the list. Chance, what would you have said?
She would have been my next nominee. I think Jackie Brown just I think is easily Tarantino's most slept-on film. I think more people need to check that out because it's really good. And much like what Jules Winfield, this character only works because it is Pam Grier, and she's fantastic in the role because it just feels it's like an amalgamation of the roles that made her a household name. So yeah, I definitely been next to me.
And Chance, it's back to you for your next nomination.
All right. I'm gonna go back to the beginning. Let's try to get another member of the Reservoir Dogs cast on here, and let's go with Mr. White, played by Harvey Keitel. Mr. White, I think he brings the most gravitas of anybody on this heist crew because he's the one that's been embedded in this crime family more than anybody, except maybe Mr. Blonde. But aside from him being him, I still think Mr. White outdoes him as far as like being steeped into this whole crime world. And yeah, like this from like the get go, you get this era of not familiarity, but you get this like sense of like leadership and like I'm the guy, I'm the one who's gonna get this done. Probably the most efficient of any part of this crew. I think he's maybe the most memorable. I think most of the memorable scene besides the ear cutting one involve Mr. White in them. He's a main focal point throughout most of this film. I think he is the member of this cast that should be on this list. So I'm going Mr. White.
Mr. White is on the table. Dan, what do you say about Mr. White?
The same, and it's not. I'm not picking on you, Chance, because of you voted my guy down, but for the same reason that you voted Mr. Blonde down, I actually think Mr. Pink and Mr. Orange are better characters in Reservoir Dogs itself, and Harvey Keitel portrays a better character in another Quentin Tarantino movie, and for that reason, I'm going to vote no on Mr. White.
I mean, we can have multiple actor characters.
Yeah, I know. I know. But I think if you're going to put Harvey Keitel, one of his performances, I think you should put. There's another one that's better, in my opinion.
But anyway, with that, I'm actually going to go say yes to Mr. White. This is probably one of my favorite characters in Reservoir Dogs. So, yeah.
That's fine.
Anyway, Dan, it's back to you for your next nomination.
I'll tell you what. We're starting to get down the list here, and I have a few others on the list. But I'm going to go back to the movie that I nominated a character from first, and that's Kill Bill. And just in one of the segments, she's in one of the segments, but she's amazing. And that's Vernita Green, played by Vivica A. Fox in Kill Bill. I really, really, really loved that scene and how she was trying to protect her daughter, and yet she knows she's got to fight to save her life, but save her daughter at the same time. And I just thought that whole scene with Vivica A. Fox, I thought even though she was in that one segment of Kill Bill Volume 1, I thought she was amazing. So I'm going to say Vernita Green.
Vernita Green is one that I don't have on my list per se. So I'm probably going to say no, but she is a great character. I've just got a few others from the Kill Bill series that I think are higher chance. What do you say about Vernita Green?
Probably the least interesting member of the Deadly Viper Assassin Squad. It's a no from me.
Anyway, it's back to me, and I'm going to go back to Pulp Fiction, and I'm going to go for Mia Wallace, played by Uma Thurman. This is one of those characters which I thought I'd totally hate because I saw Pulp Fiction much later than everyone else. I first saw it for the first time 3 years ago. So, that was after I've seen a lot of Uma Thurman ones, which I've never really been a big fan of her. So I thought, I'll page her. I actually found I enjoyed her character, like her dynamics with Vincent Vega, like all that, were just really great. So, Chance, what do you say about Mia Wallace?
Oh, she gets the yes from me. I think some of the most interesting facts about Mia are some things like we aren't told, because like if you like read into it and you like look at like the situations she's in, you get a feeling like you have to like really like dig deep, like think about like why is she married to a guy like Marcellus Wallace, because there's nothing remotely similar about the two. So you get the feeling that, look, in the movie she plays an actress who kind of crashed and burned. You kind of feel the feeling that she cleaned on Marcellus Wallace because she wanted, some kind of ticket into the big time. This is the way she's going to do this, is the way she's going to do it. And yeah, I think Mia is actually pretty interesting for the limited screen time she has. So yeah, Mia Wallace gets the yes from me.
Dan, what would you have said about Mia Wallace?
I mean, she's an amazing character. I just like Uma Thurman's performance as the bride better than I do her performance as Mia Wallace. That's just a personal, that's just a personal thing. So, I mean, I think she's great in the movie, though. She's fantastic in the movie.
And Chance, it's back to you for your next nomination. We've only got one spot left.
All right, so
wow, we got 11 nominated already.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn it! I should have never nominated Vernita Green then.
All right, so speaking of which, I'm gonna go back to Kill Bill, nominate who I think, aside from Beatrice Kiddo, is the best, most impacting member of the Deadly Viper Assassin Squad. I'm gonna go L Driver, played by Daryl Hannah, the California Mountain Snake. You get the sense that she is the only one who can go toe to toe with the Bride in any sense, and because like you look at her, she feels like more like badass, tougher version of Beatrix Kiddo. Just like the back and forth they have, just the fact it's every time she walks in the room, you take notice of her. She has this like this grace to her, and this gravitas to her that I think makes her the member of the squad that leaves the biggest impression. So I'm going with L Driver.
Our driver is on the table, and I'm actually going to go to Dan first. Dan, what do you say about our driver?
Oh man, Chance. She is absolutely a great character, and I love her. She's on my list. She's dead last on my list. I have 1, 2, 3 people ahead of her on my list that I have not had a chance to get to. And I'm just like, God, do I want to put L Driver as the last spot on the list and not one of these other 3 people possibly get on the list? And I'm just like, oh man, it's a tough decision, Chance. But because I want to see if we can get one of my people on the list, I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dan, but I like our driver, so I'm saying yes.
I do too, though. I have her on my list. I mean, I haven't had a lot of luck getting people on the list, so I figured maybe I have another chance at it. You know,
and
pun intended.
And we've got Caleb Caraho in the chat, and he says that Dr. King Schultz should be in here as well, along with John Roof and Chris Mannix.
I said Chris Mannix.
Yeah, wow. Chris was brought up to Caleb, but yeah. But with that, we've got our 12. Chance, do you have any honourable mentions?
Yeah, so other characters from Glorious Bastards. Donnie Donowitz, the Bear Jew, I think, is probably the most interesting American out of that entire crop. I also would put up Daniel Bruhl's character and the main girl. I just feel bad I can't remember their names.
Shoshana.
Shoshana, that's it. Thank you. Steven Samuel L. Jackson from Django Unchained. He's my favorite supporting character throughout the entire thing. This whole concept is actually really interesting. We already said Mr. Pink and Mr. Orange, and one more that I would have brought up. I already said like Major Marcus Warren.
Yeah. And for me, the mentions I had Gogo Yubari, Lieutenant Archie Hickox, I had the Wolf, I had Butch, I had Odell Robbie, and I also had Dr. King Schultz. I even had Bull on my list because without Bull, then we wouldn't have Kill Bull. So, but Dan, what honorable mentions did you have?
Well, like Chance said, 2 of mine, Shoshana Dreyfus and Steven. Man, was he amazing. Was Samuel L. Jackson amazing and Steven? And then the other one, I was going to try to get her on after if we could get L Driver off, and that was Oren Ishii.
Yeah, if L Driver didn't make it, I would have said yes to Oren.
Oh, well, at least made me. That's a little bit of comfort there, Chance. Thanks. Because I loved Lucy Liu as that character. There's so many great characters in the Kill Bill movies.
But anyway, just to sort of recap, the 12 that made the list, we've got Jules Winfield, we've got The Bride, we've got Vincent Vega, we've got Hans Lander, we've got Stuntman Mike, we've got Django, we've got Calvin Candy, we've got Lieutenant Aldo Rain, Jackie Brown, Mr. White, Mia Wallace, and L Driver. Chance, who do you have for 12?
Out of this list, I'll say Aldo Rain.
And Dan, who do you have for 12?
L Driver.
And I've also got Aldo Rain.
God, wow, you guys are brutal.
I mean, it's one of those ones like Tarantino is really good when it comes to characters, full stop. So it's like, it's really hard to rank them because they're all really good in their own way. Chance, who do you have for 11?
11. Let's go with Stuntman Mike.
Dan, who do you have for 11?
Even though I said L Driver last time, what the hell? I'll go with Stuntman Mike.
And if that's something Mike makes the list, I actually went different. As much as I like him, I put Vincent Vega.
Ooh.
Vincent Vega. Come on, he's got to be in the top 5.
I mean, it's one of those ones like I like the others more, slightly more. But yeah. Dan, who do you have for 10?
Well, I'm going to keep going back to L Driver. See what happens.
Chance, who do you have for 10?
I'm gonna go Vincent Vega.
Jesus.
And yeah, I didn't change it.
All right, Vincent.
I was almost considering changing it, but yeah. Right. Now we vote for number 9.
Wow, I can't believe L Driver has gotten into the top 10. Unbelievable.
But yeah, Chance, who do you have for 9?
I'll give you this one, Dan. L Driver.
All right.
Hey. Yeah, it's going to end up being a clean sweep because I've also put L Driver.
All right, number 8. Now we're getting into the nitty gritty here, boys.
Oof. This is actually really hard now.
Dan, who do you have for 8?
I got Calvin Candy.
Chance, who do you have for 8?
I'm siding with Dan. I'll go Calvin Candy.
I actually went Mia Wallace, but Calvin Candy is B8. But
Give away your hand, Malcolm. Now we're all going to say Mia Wallace.
But Chance, who do you have for 7?
Mia Wallace.
And yeah, I've still got Mia Wallace. Dan, who do you have for 7?
Well, of course I was going to go with Mia Wallace. I'm not that difficult of a person. Now this is going to get interesting. Who do we got left? Who do we?
So who we've got left? We've got Mr. White, Jackie Brown, Django.
Oh, damn it!
Hans Landa, The Bride, and Jules Winfield.
Oh, okay. All right. No, this isn't as hard as I thought.
Dan, who do you have for 6?
Mr. White.
Chance, who do you have for 6?
Yeah, I agree, Mr. White.
Yeah, same. Now we're down to the top 5. Which is really hard. We've got Jackie Brown, we've got Django, we've got Hans Landa, The Bride, and Jules Winfield. And also, the top 5 is all different movies, which I didn't expect that would happen, but it has happened that way. So, Chance, who do you have for 5?
I'm gonna go Jackie Brown.
Dan, who do you have for 5?
That's who I would have had for 5 as well.
Yeah, I would have gone Jackie Brown too. So, now we're going to 4.
Can't believe Aldo Raines is 12th on this list.
I can't believe Sam Levine didn't make the list.
I'm glad he didn't make the list. Sam Levine, are you kidding me? Of course,
Can we just like redo? We redo this and just make Sam Levine number 1. PVC Mitch Hirschberg. I know his name.
just because Chance is buddies with the guy doesn't mean his character is the best character.
I knew the name of that character, but not Shoshana, who's like the lead.
Shoshana!
I don't know. It was one of the questions I couldn't believe people missed in the Schmodown is who played Mitch Hirschberg.
That was a trick question. I can't believe they even put that in there.
But anyway, Chance, who do you have for 4?
I'm gonna go Hans Landa.
Dan, who do you have for 4?
Django.
Yeah, I also put Hans Landa.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me? He's
That's a Pinko.
I can't believe that. I thought he definitely is easily top 2 or 3. Apparently not.
Oh, this top 5 is tough. All around, but all 5 are really great characters.
Django makes the final 3. Wow.
Dan, who do you have for number 3?
Django.
And Chance, who do you have for 3?
Yeah, Django.
Yeah, same.
Oh boy. This is. Can we just have a tie?
I wish that no.
I know it's gonna win. I know it's gonna win right now. I'll put money on it. I know it's gonna win.
It's literally a coin flip for me. But Chance, who do you want for number 1?
He's putting the Bride second. Of course, he's not.
My first nominee. It's Jules Winfield.
Dan, who do you have for number 1?
Me, who I have number 1. I have the Bride as number 1. I know she ain't gonna win though.
Do you? How much do you want to bet that she won't win?
No, I don't have any money. I'm broke right now.
Because it's clear. Because I put the Bride. I like Jules Winfield, but I like the Bride more.
Wow. You voted for the Bride over Jules. The Bride wins. Oh my God! It's a shocker.
As I said, it was literally a coin flip for me.
That's incredible. That is amazing. I never thought the Bride would win. I thought for sure you guys would gang up on me.
But anyway, just to recap our 12. At number 12, we've got Lieutenant Aldo Rain. At 11, we've got Stuntman Mike. At 10, we've got Vincent Vega. At 9, we've got Al Driver. At 8, we've got Calvin Candy. At 7, we've got Mia Wallace. At 6, we've got Mr. White. At 5, we've got Jackie Brown. At 4, we've got Hans Landa. At 3, we've got Django and Django. At 2, we've got Jules Winfield. And at number 1, we've got the Bride, Beatrix Kiddo. All in all, like that, it's a pretty good list. All in all, but I'll have a new poll up after this with the options for next week's list. But let's find out where we can find everyone. Apart from beating Bibiani in Arizona in a month or so, Chance, where can people find you online?
Oh, besides that, buy your tickets at schmodownload.com. You can find me at Twitter and Instagram at chanceforce_91. Check my I've been trying to publish an episode of my podcast, but for some reason it's not going. So my podcast, Stories by Chance, our episode on the Wicker Man remake, yes, it's will be up very soon, hopefully. Aside from that, that'll just about do it.
And Dan, where can people find you online?
You can find me at my name, Dan Skip Allen, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest, or at From the Fourth Row at WordPress.com, where I write about sports and movies, and the website that I work for, which I posted 5 reviews today, Cinesportstalk.com. That's CINESPORTSTALK.com, and I do a little series on YouTube myself. It's called Bleacher Features, and this guy right here, Chance, he was on my very first episode, where we just break down a sports movie each week or every episode, and it's real fun. If you like sports movies, come watch the episodes. You can find those on my YouTube channel under Dan Allen.
You can find me, and you can find Rankum every Sunday night, and usually, and you can find me hosting Informative Random usually every Tuesday, but it's going to be live tomorrow for a change with the 3rd Harry Potter match. You can also find me appearing all over the place and like on various fan leagues, and you can find me on Twitter, Box and Stardust at Melport. And until next week, keep listing shit.